This is Brand Runner, where we talk about all things creative productivity and how to make brands that really stand out. You know, the brands that people can't help but notice. And today's deep dive is all about Adobe Summit 2025. And it wasn't just your typical, oh, look, new features thing. It was something much bigger. What we saw at Summit this year was artificial intelligence stepping into the spotlight and basically changing the game for creativity, how businesses get things done, and even how we build brands. We've been digging into all the keynotes and announcements, and we're going to break down what actually matters.
Yeah, you've gathered some really interesting stuff here. And the big message that kept coming up at Summit was that AI, it's not just an extra tool anymore. It's becoming part of how we create and market things.
Yeah.
It's like moving from those bolt-on AI features to AI being built right into the foundation of everything, which means users will probably start seeing AI everywhere, even if they don't realize it. And that means big changes for what skills marketers and creatives are going to need.
Yeah, and that makes me think about the opening keynote. It really felt like the 23rd Adobe Summit had this exciting energy around it and the whole golden age of design idea that kept coming up. I was really struck by how AI is taking center stage, not just making us work faster, but also opening up all these creative possibilities for literally everyone, not just the experts.
And what's really interesting here is how Adobe is approaching this. It's not just about AI for data scientists or engineers. You know, they've always been about making creativity accessible with the tools we all use: Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, After Effects, even Express. And now they're bringing in this powerful generative AI across all of Creative Cloud. It's about making AI easy to use within the tools we already know and love.
And they're making it super accessible too, right? The new Photoshop web and mobile app is a perfect example of that. But I have to say, the biggest news for me was that dedicated Firefly application. I think this could be a game changer. Having one place to create images, vectors, video, even voice, that's huge.
Exactly. And what's really important about that Firefly video model, which is currently in public beta, is that Adobe is making sure it's IP friendly and commercially safe. This is a big deal because it means they trained the AI models on data they have the rights to. So users don't have to worry as much about copyright issues, which has been a big problem with some other generative AI tools. You can feel more confident using it for professional projects.
That is a huge relief for creators for sure. And it's clear this isn't just for the pros. Adobe's creativity for all vision is really shining through here. They're making these AI-powered apps available to everyone, students, small businesses, everyone, especially those who might not have a ton of resources.
This is part of a larger trend we're seeing, where the lines between being productive and being creative are blurring. Like Shantanu Narayan said, creativity is the new productivity, now that visual communication is so important. Think about how many presentations have visuals now, how much social media depends on engaging content. Creativity isn't just for artists anymore.
And speaking of productivity, that AI assistant in Adobe Acrobat and Reader sounds like a game changer. Imagine talking to a PDF and it actually understands you. You could summarize long documents, pull out the important stuff, even turn that info into presentations. I mean, that would save so much time.
It's about changing how we use all the information that's locked up in PDFs. You're not just reading passively anymore, you're actually interacting with the content to get what you need quickly. And the way they're connecting Acrobat and Express to make document workflow smoother makes total sense. You can easily create and share summaries or key takeaways right from the document.
Now, Adobe is also really focused on bringing creativity and marketing together. They want to make it easier to create and deliver personalized content at scale across all the different channels we use to reach our audience. That's a big challenge for a lot of brands who are trying to create that personal connection.
It is, and Adobe Gen Studio seems to be their answer to that. It's this big framework that brings together the whole content lifecycle. From the initial creative development and production all the way to managing assets, delivering content across platforms, running campaigns, getting insights, and analyzing the data. The goal is to create high-quality creative output that could be deployed and measured instantly.
It's amazing to see how Adobe's marketing technology has come so far since 2009. From starting with Adobe Analytics, they've built this platform that brings together creativity marketing and now generative AI to make those really personalized conversational experiences possible. It feels like they're building on a really strong foundation that just keeps evolving.
And what's really important to understand about Adobe's approach to AI is that they keep saying they want to help people be more creative, not replace them. That idea is at the heart of how they approach data, the AI models, the intelligent agents, and the user interfaces we use. It's all about humans and AI working together.
And that focus on building trustworthy and transparent AI is so important. I mean, the fact that they're training their Firefly models on licensed high-quality data and even offering custom enterprise models shows they're serious about the ethical side of AI and the practical needs of businesses.
Exactly. And their partnerships with the big AI players like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft show they're building an open, adaptable ecosystem. Plus, their work with the Content Authenticity Initiative on content credentials shows they're dedicated to giving credit to creators and fighting misinformation.
So the opening keynote really set the stage, didn't it? This idea of creativity, productivity, and marketing all coming together powered by AI that seems to be the big story of this year's summit.
Absolutely. And that story continued in Anil Chakravarthi's keynote. He really zeroed in on customer experience management and how AI is changing it. He talked about how important it is to keep those genuine human connections with customers and partners, even as the digital world grows.
It's interesting to look back at how Adobe got into digital marketing. They started by acquiring Omniture, which is how we got Adobe Analytics. And from there, they've expanded into this whole customer experience management vision. They've got Adobe Commerce for e-commerce, Marketo Engage for marketing automation, and Workfront for workflow management. They've really built a complete set of tools.
They have. And the launch of Adobe Experience Platform, or AEP, was a big deal. It gave us that unified customer profile and made real-time personalized experiences possible. The numbers Anil shared really show how big and impactful AEP has become. It manages billions of customer profiles, handles billions of daily activations, and powers trillions of experience activations every year. Those are some serious numbers that show just how far-reaching the platform is.
And they also announced that AEP is expanding to Amazon Web Services for multi-cloud environments. That's a big deal for those larger companies with different cloud setups. It gives them more flexibility and choices in how they manage their customer experience technology.
Exactly. And as Anil said, we're now in the age of generative AI and agent technology. Customers expect seamless, personalized conversations with brands at every touch point. It's a fundamental shift in what consumers want.
This customer experience orchestration idea where everything, content, customer data, individual customer journeys, all comes together seamlessly guided by AI. It sounds incredibly complex, but also incredibly powerful for delivering that one-to-one personalization at scale that everyone wants.
It means breaking down those traditional silos within organizations and making sure all those different parts not only work together, but work towards the same goal, creating amazing customer experiences. And AI is seen as the intelligent conductor that can make this complex symphony happen.
One of the best real-world examples of this came from James Quincy, the CEO of Coca-Cola. The way they're using generative AI for point-of-sale marketing in emerging markets is fascinating. It shows how they can be both locally relevant and operationally efficient.
It really does. Think about empowering those local, often smaller independent stores to customize their in-store ads with different visuals. Different people, product placements, scenarios, all created by AI. That highlights the real-world benefits. It significantly cuts down on both the cost and the time compared to traditional photography and design processes, which usually rely on centralized teams and complicated logistics.
And Quincy's thoughts on the balance between the cost of being creative, the risk of annoying customers with too much advertising, and the lasting value of authentic live experiences were really insightful. His prediction that this will make truly original and impactful creativity even more valuable really struck a chord with me.
His stories about his own leadership style were interesting too, like wearing jeans to show a cultural shift within the company, or even choosing to drink something other than Coke in a meeting to emphasize that they need to focus on making what people want, not just selling what they already have. Those little actions say a lot about driving change.
And his nickname, Chief Agitator, definitely gives you a sense of Coca-Cola's approach to innovation. That strategy of launching those niche, attention-grabbing products like Oreo-flavored Coke to create buzz and get people interested in the core Coke brand again is really smart and kind of unconventional.
It shows that innovation isn't always about creating the next big product line. Sometimes it's about creating those moments of intrigue and reminding people about the classic products through those unexpected and shareable experiences.
The way Coca-Cola manages its huge global brand framework while still adapting to local markets is also a great lesson in understanding different cultures. Pairing Coke with biryani in India, tacos in Mexico, and burgers in the US shows how they tailor their approach to be culturally relevant.
It's about keeping the main brand identity and values while making sure the brand resonates with different cultural contexts and eating habits. Food pairings are a really effective way to build that local connection.
And their journey with personalization, from the early Share a Coke campaign to using digital printing to personalize physical products at scale, shows how technology has helped them connect with consumers in a more individual and meaningful way.
The Share a Coke campaign was a real breakthrough. It showed how powerful it can be to make consumers part of the brand's story. And the advances in digital printing have taken that idea to a whole new level of personalized engagement.
Coca-Cola has definitely been at the forefront of using AI in marketing. They started with analytics, and now they're actively experimenting with generative AI for images and video. That Christmas ad with the polar bears showed the benefits in terms of cost and speed, even though there are still some limitations like getting high-resolution human faces right.
Quincy's thoughts on the future balance between AI-driven marketing and the risk of annoying consumers are important for all brands to consider. His idea that we might see a comeback of live in-person experiences as a way to balance all the digital stuff is a really interesting trend to keep an eye on.
And at the end of the day, Coca-Cola's purpose, to refresh the world and make a difference, with a focus on beverages and a sustainable ecosystem for everyone involved, really shows their commitment to ethical and strategic innovation.
It highlights that even with all the advancements in technology, a company's mission and values are still what guide their direction and impact.
Let's shift gears now and talk about Adobe's own advancements in what they're calling agentic AI. They unveiled the Adobe AI platform built on data models and these agents that are designed to help with marketing, productivity, and creativity. For those of us who aren't AI experts, how would you explain what these agents are?
Think of agents like really smart software programs that can pretty much work on their own. They don't just respond to commands. They can actually do tasks and make suggestions based on what you want to achieve and any limits you set. They go beyond answering questions. They take action and make smart recommendations to help you reach your goals.
And they're putting these agents into all sorts of Adobe Experience platform applications. Real-time CDP for Customer Data Journey Optimizer for managing customer experiences, Customer Journey Analytics for understanding customer behavior, even AEM for content management. And it's all accessible through that AI assistant. It seems like a much easier way to use AI across all these different tools.
It is, and the agent orchestrator is like the control center for all these agents, making sure they work together smoothly. Take the audience agent in real-time CDP, for example. It lets you create and manage specific groups of customers just by using normal language.
So instead of having to mess with all those complicated segmentation rules and filters, I could just say, find all the customers who spent more than 2 minutes on our product page last week but didn't add anything to their cart.
That's it. And the agent would go through your customer data, understand what you're asking, and build that exact audience segment for you. It might even use predictive models to refine the results based on how likely those people are to buy something. It shifts the focus from figuring out how to create an audience to just saying what you want.
That journey agent in Adobe Journey Optimizer sounds just as impressive for designing those complicated customer journeys just by using simple commands. Like that example they gave of a travel company automatically giving special offers to loyalty program members who are at risk of leaving. That really shows what's possible.
It takes a lot of the manual work out of designing journeys by using past customer behavior, loyalty status, and preset business rules to recommend the best offers, timing, and communication channels. But importantly, it still lets the marketer control the overall strategy and goals.
And for those of us who are always running A/B tests and trying to optimize our campaigns, that experimentation agent sounds like a huge time saver. Being able to quickly come up with new ideas, test them, and even predict how they'll perform before fully launching them could really speed up our learning and get us better results.
It's all about experimenting faster and finding out what works best much quicker. That example of testing different small rewards to see what gets new subscribers more engaged shows how this agent can help you come up with ideas, set up tests, and then analyze the results to make better decisions.
They even had the scenario where Marriott Hotels was using these agents to make guest experiences better, like automatically offering business travelers the option to extend their trips with personalized offers, even suggesting a helicopter tour. It really helps you imagine how this could work in the real world.
It shows how agents can anticipate what customers need based on their profile and past behavior, and then deliver those personalized experiences at scale. They also talked about using the audience agent to target luxury travelers for longer stay campaigns, and even simulating how different marketing channels might perform before launching a campaign. It really shows how sophisticated these tools are.
That Adobe Brand Concierge sounds particularly interesting. It's like combining generative AI with detailed customer profiles and approved brand assets to make those really personalized customer interactions possible across different channels. Imagine an AI that understands your brand guidelines as well as it understands your individual customers.
That example of the brand concierge recommending certain clothing styles based on a customer's past purchases is a perfect illustration of that level of personalization. And imagine how Marriott could use it to create tailored concierge experiences across their properties, like suggesting a specific celebrity chef's tasting menu based on a guest's preferences. That's taking customer service to a whole new level.
And for those of us who sometimes feel overwhelmed by all that marketing data, the Data Insights Agent in Customer Journey Analytics sounds like a real breakthrough. Being able to get insights from those complex data sets just by talking to the AI, even having it forecast trends and spot anomalies in performance, could be a game changer for making data-driven decisions.
It's about making data insights accessible to everyone. You don't need a data scientist or hours of analysis to find the important stuff. You can just have a conversation with the AI to uncover trends, predict what might happen, and understand what's behind the numbers. And being able to see data updates in real time is crucial for staying on top of those ever-changing customer behaviors.
They even mentioned that Wegmans, the grocery store, saw engagement with their mobile campaigns triple when they started using these AI technologies. That's real proof that these innovations are having a real impact.
Exactly. This isn't just theory anymore. We're seeing real results in how marketing is being done.
Now, there was also a quick but interesting mention of Project Panorama. It sounds like it could be a really useful tool for understanding how people are using our mobile apps.
Project Panorama is all about making sense of those sometimes complicated mobile app user journeys. It gives you a visual, real-time map of how people are interacting with your app. You can track how well the app is performing, see how people are actually using it, and get a clear picture of every screen they visit.
So marketers could basically see exactly how people are moving through their apps and quickly spot any areas where people are getting stuck or dropping off.
Exactly. And the best part is marketers can apparently create targeted offers and messages right from the Project Panorama interface without having to bother developers or write any code. That makes optimizing the app much faster and easier.
Adobe also spent a lot of time talking about the specific needs of B2B marketing. They introduced this B2B 3.0 AI orchestrated journeys concept, which shows they understand that marketing and selling to businesses is different from consumer marketing.
It does. They talk about four main principles of this B2B 3.0 approach. Thinking about the whole sales funnel from marketing to sales to customer service, focusing on both individual leads and entire target accounts, figuring out where an account is in the buying process, and using real-time data to improve engagement strategies.
Their announcement of this integrated B2B go-to-market orchestration with those three key pillars, a strong data foundation, personalized engagement, and real-time activation, really shows how committed they are to this part of the market.
That data foundation means having a clear understanding of both the companies you're targeting and the groups of people within those companies who make buying decisions. Personalized engagement for B2B is about using AI to create tailored content and have more natural conversations. And real-time activation is about using insights to take immediate action and then measuring the impact in customer journey analytics.
That new dashboard in Adobe Journey Optimizer B2B edition sounds really helpful for B2B marketers. Having a single view of your most important accounts, their engagement levels, any accounts that are suddenly getting more active or at risk of leaving, and insights into those buying groups. That reference to ServiceNow probably resonated with a lot of B2B folks.
It tackles that common problem of having data spread out across different marketing and sales systems. It brings everything together so you can see how healthy your accounts are and proactively spot opportunities or potential issues. Being able to quickly see which accounts are getting more active or less engaged is essential for taking action at the right time.
And using the audience agent to recommend specific target accounts and the best people to target within those buying groups for cross-selling seems like a really smart way to use AI in B2B sales.
It takes the guesswork out of finding the most promising opportunities for growth, so marketing and sales teams can focus on what's most likely to work. And that example of creating personalized journeys for different members of a buying group, like tailoring the content and channels for HR decision makers versus HR practitioners versus IT influencers shows how nuanced they're getting with engagement.
Integrating Adobe Gen Studio for performance marketing specifically for B2B social media ads and introducing Adobe Brand Concierge B2B Edition for those personalized conversations shows they're really tailoring their approach to the unique dynamics of B2B.
It's about taking those proven personalization and content strategies from B2C marketing and adapting them to the longer, more complex B2B sales cycles and the fact that you're usually dealing with multiple decision makers.
That focus on constantly updating buying group engagement scores and automatically alerting sales teams seems designed to improve communication and collaboration between marketing and sales in B2B companies.
It is. It's about making sure qualified leads are handed off smoothly and that sales teams always have the latest information and insights they need to close deals.
And those new B2B features in Adobe Customer Journey Analytics for analyzing things like KPIs within the context of those accounts and buying group journeys, understanding how marketing is impacting the sales pipeline and tracking progress through the different buying stages sound like essential tools for B2B marketers who need to prove their value.
It gives them the visibility they need to see how their marketing activities are directly contributing to pipeline growth and ultimately revenue in that often complicated B2B sales process. And introducing the account qualification agent, which gives sales reps those AI-generated account summaries and recommended next steps, further streamlines things for sales and helps them be more effective.
The results that Dentsu shared are pretty impressive. They said they were able to deliver assets 70% faster and saw a 78% increase in click-through rates when they used Gen Studio for performance marketing. That's real-world proof that these B2B innovations are working.
And that beta launch of Gen Studio Foundation, which will give a single view of the entire B2B experience, shows they're moving towards more integration efficiency and better results for B2B marketers.
So looking at everything, Adobe Summit 2025 really painted a picture of the future where artificial intelligence is a core part of how we approach creativity marketing and business in general. It has the potential to create those personalized, impactful experiences at scale for both consumers and businesses. The advancements in AI agents and the way creative marketing workflows are coming together seem to be driving this transformation.
What stood out to you the most from all these announcements?
For me, it's how we're moving away from thinking of AI as a separate tool. Now it's becoming this intelligent assistant and orchestrator that's baked into everything we do. Having these AI agents help us build audiences, design customer journeys, and even find those data insights is really exciting. It's a fundamentally better and more efficient way to work.
I totally agree. And that focus on developing and using AI responsibly, always thinking about how it can help human creativity instead of replacing it, is really reassuring. It brings a sense of optimism and ethical grounding to all this rapid technological change.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the big takeaways and announcements from Adobe Summit 2025. It's clear that AI is changing the future of branding and customer engagement. It's bringing both amazing opportunities and new things to think about for all of us.
It certainly has, and it leaves us with a final thought for you to consider. As AI keeps advancing, how will you and your brand adapt your creative process and marketing strategies? How will you use its power while still keeping that genuine human connection with your audience?
Hope you enjoyed the show. Link in the description for the newsletter packed with productivity tools and brand insights.